I'm telling you, he was never
Fully developed abs.
yeah, fully. He was never
But
really even training them.
what's up, guys, and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the man who was supposed to defend his first ever Miss Olympia title this year, Derek Lunsford. The man who is hurt, but he is putting the work in and day out, to redeem himself at this upcoming Arnold, Ohio. And redemption for Derek means not only just beating his Olympia 2024 package, but also beating the reigning Mr. Olympia champion Samson Dauda and winning his first ever Arnold title. Because I'm sure all of you guys have heard by now that Derek 100% believes that if he is truly on, if he is on his A game, he is the best bodybuilder on the planet. Now, on a lighter note, after watching the latest episode of the Menace podcast, many of you guys will realize that Milos has wrongly been accused of being the most biased coach and trainer in the whole fitness industry. Because Cormier, after getting on board with Derek as his trainer, he has kind of snatched that title from Milos.
About the chest, we gonna see the
You're gonna see
striations,
shit. Yes.
struck out like
Yes.
Jose Raymond.
Yes.
Now, I for one want to see Derek make this awesome comeback. I really admire this man. But the way Cormier is portraying all these things, it kind of feels like he's throwing Derek's former coach and the greatest bodybuilding coach in the history of the sport, Hani Rembod, under the bus.
I don't want to talk about him and Hani's situation, but he explained to me exactly what they were doing. But
Because according to some of the statements that Cormier made about Derek not having well-developed abs, obliques, brachialis, that's simply attributed to him not doing the correct exercises or not connecting with the muscles.
he needed to do more, and I think he was just overdoing a lot of things, from exercises on up to cardio, on up to whatever. But you don't need to do that many exercises for legs.
Which kind of makes you wonder, what was Hani Rembod doing all this time? Because I for one do not agree with that. Because if that was the case, that would have been the same with Chris Bumstead and Hadi Chopin as well. And that is why Jose Raymond, he also raised this question, which also cracked Dennis James and Milos up. That don't Cormier think that Hani Rembod must have utilized all those techniques with Derek already.
And the brachialis was like not even really developed. The lower lats was not really developed.
What about the abs? Do you know what his ab training is like?
100%.
You don't think Hani already put some blood in there?
No.
The
Hani is not the
FST7?
trainer I am, brother.
Now, I have got to say this happens all the time. Whenever a trainer or a coach, they gets on board with a big name, there is more hype created by the coach rather than the athlete himself. Because let me take you guys a few months back, when Rubiel Mosquera was training at the Occidental Gym Kuwait with Cormier. What was Chris saying about Rubiel at that time? Well, Chris said that he is gonna beat Behruz Tabani and everyone else in that Dubai Pro lineup. And that is exactly what he was supposed to say, as the man is his trainer. But what were the results? Rubiel was fourth, and it wasn't even close between him and all these other guys in that show. Now, that being said, let me clarify something. I'm not comparing Derek's situation to Rubiel's at all. And if there is anybody who can make this successful comeback, it's Derek Lunsford.
I think it's not like Derek needs to put on more size.
Yeah, it's not. It's more like a detail thing, and he's
legs.
he's an ex wrestler.
Well, let's not forget, he is going up against a guy like Samson Dauda, who has continuously been improving for the past few years, from one show to the next one. And most importantly, that is a 300 pounds bodybuilder with unbelievable aesthetics, such a tiny waistline, and his biggest weakness, which was his back, at one point in his career, that just isn't the same weakness anymore, as he has brought up his back big time, especially his back lat spread shot. That isn't a weak point anymore. Now, I do get that Derek is still gonna beat Samson Dauda in the back double biceps for sure, but the judges did not give Derek real lat spread at the Olympia this year. Yes, Cormier deserves all the credit for successfully evolving a guy like Brian and his physique, but that took him years, not weeks. Now, if anything, Cormier is gonna make us fans fired up even more for this upcoming Arnold next year, because he's predicting an upset that Derek is gonna win it over Samson Dauda. So, are you guys also getting excited for this upcoming Arnold Classic? So the next big story in the bodybuilding today, that is the return of the prophecy, Nathan D'Isha, to the US and doing his first show here after 2018 Miss Olympia, and it is none other than the mighty Pittsburgh Pro. And that is a show that is most probably gonna have one of the biggest men's open lineup next year. Now, I have got to say props to Nathan Asha for going up against the likes of Martin Fitzwater and Nick Walker, both of whom have placed way higher at the Olympia than Nathan ever placed in his career.
Start dieting.
February.
End of Feb.
End of Feb.
Yeah.
12 weeks through.
Now.
That's
10 weeks out long for
10
me.
weeks out. Easy.
So Nathan going for this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro. That also means he is all cleared to travel to the US. And this also opens up a possibility of him returning to the Olympia stage next year after a 7 years gap, which is kind of insane. So the Pittsburgh Pro becomes another show where two guys, Martin and Nathan, both of whom are currently working with Stefan as their coach, they are going to be competing against each other. And the funny thing is that Nathan has been working with Stefan way earlier than Martin. And it was also Nathan's idea for Martin to sign up with Stefan. So based on the physique that we saw from Nathan Asha this year, in 3 shows that we did, does he stands any chance against these other top guys? I have got to say, not if they bring their 100%. As good as Nathan is, he does have some very glaring weaknesses, like the hamstrings, like those high lat insertions. So we will see how this goes for him. But I for one am really excited to see Nathan going up against all these guys. Wesley posted a 9 weeks out physique update, looking all big and full as a house. Now, he has more lines in his chest and shoulders than any other guy in the entire classic physique division. But I have got to say, we as fans, we are just so confused after the Olympia this year and the way that competition was judged, that it is impossible to predict where Wesley is gonna place at this upcoming Arnold in his first Arnold title defense. It is one of those rare chances where the reigning champion isn't being considered the hot favorite entering into a show, because Mike Sommerfeld just looked way too good and too complete at this past Miss Olympia, and even against a dominant champion like Chris Bumstead. But that being said, I think the judges can definitely consider Wesley for the win if they see some noticeable improvements, especially in his lower half, in his legs. Because all of us can agree on one thing, that Wesley needs to bring a more balanced look, top to bottom on the stage. Because what we saw at the Olympia this year, his upper half, that was just way too overpowering. And secondly, he needs to peak at his 100%, at his all-time best, with absolute perfection, just like he did for the Arnold Ohio this year. Now, I think he has a better chance of placing higher or winning the title if he is very full, rather than just focus on being as shredded as he possibly can. Because he was in a great condition at the Olympia this year, but the overall package, that wasn't good enough for the judges to place him even in the first call out. And keep in mind, Mike isn't the only one who intends to beat Wesley at this upcoming Arnold. After Mike Sommerfeld, Michael the Bull is the second highest placing guy from the Olympia this year who is gonna be there at the Arnold next year. And we all know that nobody can be more shredded than Michael the Bull. So bringing the condition, that is no problem at all for Michael, and he is determined to create history here as well. So Wesley's upper body, that is near perfect, but he needs more quad sweep and hamstrings. So what do you guys think? Is he gonna be able to bring more size on his quads at this upcoming Arnold? So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.